Hello, friends and kindred hearts. Welcome to Sage Thyme. Happy Yule. Happy Christmas Eve, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I'm sure I'm forgetting all kinds. Happy day and evening to you. Welcome to this channel and welcome to my space. There is a message that is promising to be beautiful and heartwarming and grief releasing. Oh, I can feel it. Hope igniting. This definitely is the single candle light in the darkness that, while seemingly small, when you gaze upon it, and I'm hearing gaze upon it within your core, that solar plexus area, when you gaze upon that little candle light, you'll feel, you'll know the incredible, powerful hope that lives within that, even the smallest spark of light. And it's only going to grow and grow and grow throughout this now present winter season. So welcome. Let's get started. We're using a new deck today that I've been familiarizing myself with. It came on winter solstice, season of the witch, the Yule oracle. So that's our primary. We'll see who else wants to come in and play. The first card that came out is the crone. I mean, honestly, here we are in the winter season. And there's more to this for you, whether you are maiden mother crow in your life journey, whether you are the page night king. I'm not sure if that's really the way it goes. There isn't a triple masculine. And even if you are a man, there is a youthfulness and a parenting and a wisdom stage in your life amongst the smaller. Regardless of where you are in this crone phase of transition. I'm hearing you've already crossed the threshold, and now something in your life, whether it's your career, your marriage, your relationship with family, your relationship with yourself, is coming through really strongly. You are becoming a new level of wisdom within that relationship with yourself. It says here, thy wisdom befriends the honor in which weaves within blood, a harrowing call from the depths of your sacredness. That is a beautiful encapsulation of what the crone is representing. It's the wisdom that you have accumulated, hard-won, I'm hearing, accumulated and hard-won through your efforts, through your experiences, through your failures. Good job on letting yourself fail so you could learn and then improve and grow stronger and accept and love and forgive if you need to experience that forgiveness and embrace all the parts of you, who you were and who you are becoming. Because you've got to do all the parts to become the whole, which is the sum of all the parts. That's what makes you wise. That is the embedding knowledge within your blood, within the cells of your blood, and the DNA within those cells. And it's the memory that you will imprint within everyone whose lives you now touch. And I'm hearing, take your time. Now, don't go run out and change the world. I think those days are done. Not that you're not going to change the world. That ambition of the knight and the maiden I just heard my little dog do his little quiver snort. It's his confirmation. So there's something really important about that stage of yourself that had ambition and an intellectual conceptualization that was probably fueled by spirit and heart and passion, as well as conditioning and programming. But that drive, that's what's being quelled and dissipated, not stifled. It's just complete. There were two other cards that wanted to come out in connection with the crone. And I love this. We've got Dove, Medicine, and Cold Moon. And you can't get, again, more pointed than that. I looked up during the December 15th full moon because I couldn't remember what it was called. And it is called the Cold Moon, right? Yes. Yes. Which I don't know if that's the wolf moon. I believe the wolf moon is something different. But it was the cold moon. So this is what, during that full moon on the 15th, 14th, 15th, that you were letting go of. And you can see this posture of this woman standing, beautifully pale skin, and she's robed and crowned in darkness. Not darkness evil. Darkness internal investigation. That's an interesting way of saying it. I'm hearing all these words, the self-reflective, self-effacement, but what I'm feeling is that inward turning in and really opening yourself up to exploring areas within yourself you didn't know existed. You didn't even know there were areas within yourself that you didn't know you didn't know. But something compelled you to do it. And that's what the darkness of the crown and the garb represent, is some incredible hardship. Now, I'm seeing this image in the background behind her just now, and it's popping up as all these different figures and people, like crowds of people. So I don't think this was one hardship. I think this was, I'm hearing a lot of judgment, not true judgment. Some was, and that's where you had to go within. I'm seeing faces come through on those splotches in the background. You had to go deeply within, past the conditioning, past the psychic noise, past the perceptions, good, bad, and indifferent of yourself. And, sorry, I got a little lost in the imagery. To understand what's true of you and what was accurate per the perspectives of others. And I'm hearing this, like, none of it was true. Not them, not you. None of the perspectives were necessarily true, and yet they also were. Not because, I'm being corrected. You know, it has to always do with that filter of how we see others and ourselves through those different lenses that we wear. And those lenses are created and then get also distorted and dusted and everything with various experiences. And so it distorts how we see ourselves. It distorts how we see others. Of course, we have our own protective mechanisms that can distort how we see ourselves accurately or not. And what I'm really, really feeling into is this dove on her arm keeps reminding her and is still with her now. She's walked out of that darkness And she remains wearing the dark garb and the dark crown and the dove as her kindred animal. And the dove reminded her during those dark investigations, because you really have to immerse yourself in the perspective in order to really know if that's true of you. And the dove was there to remind you the pure truth of you. And the dove was there to remind you to call that pure truth of you in when you were saturated, absorbed by these heavier perspectives. And what you found was all of them, yours and theirs, were all simply nothing more than perspectives. And like outfits that they wore, that they looked at you through, and that you wore and protected yourself with at times. And so there's this purity of the skin that matches that purity of the dove, that knowing of the truth that is you. And I'm hearing it's simply true. There's no words to describe the pure truth of you other than it's true. And the feeling that comes with that knowing when I say it, when you say it, when you hear it from somebody speaking in a reverberation that reflects the honest, authentic truth of you. And it is true. You are true. And you've come through that incredible cycle. And then passageway was really, it seems, I mean, the cold moon. We just had that full moon. That was your threshold that you crossed. I can't remember if the last reading I talked about thresholds too. So after the crown, here's what's interesting. That's what's interesting. I just did this, and that's not something a poise that I take. So you're taking on a new poise. And it's not something I'm feeling like you're inventing yourself. It's more something of your becoming another layer, another unfoldment of yourself. There it is. So it's not an artificial, like, I want that and I want that and I want to look and be and present. It's not that. Now, you may have seen other characters in the world or on TV or in your inner meditations and visions that reflected aspects of you that were true of you. And it was true of you not because you wanted to be it, which really was what you were up to before in that night page, even mother, father category of your life potentially. This isn't as much about what you want as who you are, and it's simply letting the rest go. I'm just seeing that the drapes of your outfit simply floating and falling off you like a silken robe, and knowing that whatever is beneath that, without needing to look into the mirror, that is true, all of it. Not how it's seen, but what it is and what it feels like. That's you. What you know that to be. And you know now to lean into that as often as possible. In fact, I'm hearing this is the priority. It's more than a connection to something that's greater than oneself. Maybe not more, but it's in more accurate alignment to enable that connection by merely allowing what is within you to open up and show up, and tending to it like the gentle gardener. Ooh, I like that. Very nice. You are becoming the gentle gardener of your inner landscape. You've done a great deal of archaeological digging. You've discovered some really nasty areas within the depths of your layers. Not necessarily put there by you, maybe. Circumstantially, more likely, but yeah, it's there. We're not interested in blaming anymore, are you? You're simply interested in finding what doesn't allow your truest self to be present and fully embody your inner being. Instead of pulling things in, you're opening up these microscopic aspects of yourself and clearing them out in such a way that it just releases what isn't. It drops those veils and robes and outfits that were put on you. Maybe you thought you were supposed to claim them. Maybe you told that you were. Maybe you made the choice. Maybe not. Maybe you were never given the opportunity to make the choices. But maybe people told you that it was your choice. Maybe you've been buying into what people have been telling you for a long time, and it has been putting you under a rock and just grinding you down. And you didn't know you had a choice or an option. And every time maybe you thought you could or did, and you made it, there was always plenty of force, exactly the right amount of opposing force to not let you truly see what your choices were and to truly choose. Maybe some manipulated or played part in a scenario that made you think you had choices. Maybe you even convinced yourself that you were making your own choices. And at some point you realized none of this is really that. But when you're present with that deep, inner, powerful, blooming, beautiful, profound, sometimes fierce, incredibly delicate, eternal part of you, that little flicker of candlelight, then you know that that's really the only place you need to be. And the only goal that needs to be met is to be in that presence and to ignite it and expand it. Not because you're denying the darkness and clinging to the light, but simply because you are touching a part of you that is so real and honest and authentic and true that it can't help but grow. And when it grows, it can change in its colors and spectrums. That's the darkness interplaying with the light. And now that you're familiar enough with this darkness, you know how much and which tones of darkness, black is all the colors, light is the absence of. So you know how to intermingle them. All this beautiful, pure white light, bring in maybe some yellows, boost in your confidence. Now bring in some pinks and some blues and some purples and some greens, and boom, you're igniting an incredible spectrum. And then you can go back into light, clear it all out. You can make that light small again so that you can look at all the spaces of the darkness, because you know that it's not darkness that's evil. It's the absence of awareness that allows things in that we would not choose. You know this now. Okay, I'm feeling so much right now. All right, so the next cards that came out. We've got gathering, and then there's another card, and then on the other side of that card is family. In the middle of gathering and family is mistletoe. So, talking about gatherings and family, the recognition of a community that isn't necessarily okay. Yes, on community. By creating this light and this warmth within you, this fire at the center of you and all the parts of you, the quality of your internal flame, as well as the quantity, especially the quality of it, the different characteristics and so forth. It's creating a beacon for other flames that are kindred to yours. Now, they may not have the same qualities, but they have the same quality, if that makes sense. The experiences may vary, but they mix and match beautifully to create a whole picture, an even greater whole picture, and a gathering around a combined light that comes from everybody equally. This flame in the center of everybody gathering around, bundled up in the cold weather, and they're circling this flame of light and warmth. And it is a flame that is an accumulation of everybody else's flames equally contributing. Not one or two contributing most of it and then the others taking. Everybody here is gathering because they have gone through the different processes. This is the kindred similarity, to recognize that not only is right reciprocity essential, and to also recognize that like a ship on water, there's waves and ebbs and flows, but also to recognize that each person's light deserves a place to shine in the group. Each person's voice and essence deserves to be heard and seen and must. So if you have, for instance, if you're amazing at candle making and somebody else is amazing at cooking, but you're also really good at cooking too, but you see that for that other person, that's their thing, then you can really focus on candle making, and you love that honestly even more. You don't have to be and do all the things for everybody, is what I'm saying. There's this recognition that everybody gets to shine on stage. And now, instead of a stage with one or two people and everybody watching, it's a circle, it's a gathering. And this is sacred to you. Like the mistletoe, a type of ivy, I think, right? Mistletoe is a type of ivy. Doesn't say it here. Holly. And it never touches the ground. It grows up high on, I believe, the branches of oak trees, maybe more than that. And of course there's, we use it as a way to steal a kiss or get a kiss or give a kiss or whatever the kiss is, right? To instigate a moment of kissing, but it means so much more. And it really has to do with that cultivation, that seeding and fostering and cultivating of something sacred. That's the key. And again, what makes it sacred is it never touches the ground. And in old lore, when it was harvested to use for decor and so forth, during the solstice, the Yule, in the winter season, it was honored in the same way by not letting it touch the ground. Honoring its nature is another big theme that's coming up, and that's what's happening. You're not having to teach people in your community to honor each other's nature. Everybody's showing up knowing that. Yeah. And keeping each other in check, because sometimes we forget what we know, right? Now, big noises happening all of a sudden. Now, on the other side of the mistletoe, the sacred is family. Many of you have left behind essential people that you called family. Maybe children, maybe parents have passed, maybe children have passed, maybe the entirety of your family. A lot of people come to a realization, and autumn is a keen time to bring that into awareness of when things are complete and to let go. And now that we've just crossed over the threshold into winter solstice, that standing in the cold, realizing that an era has been complete. Maybe you're empty nesting and all your kids are off and about and traveling the world and doing your own thing. Maybe you and your partner are sitting in a space where things are completing. A parent has passed, perhaps, and you're realizing it's time to reinvent what family means and looks like and moves like, and how it works together, but also grows separately and comes together, grows separately and comes together. It's not the homogeny, the same that makes family great. It's the distinctions and the reverence for one another within those distinctions and letting each other have those as well. And then this next card that came in a same positioning as the mistletoe. It was in the middle, and yet outside of it is the unknown. And how perfect. This is the time, the season of darkness, the winter. We get cold and quiet, we contract, we go into our yin, our feminine nature. And we let go of thought, we let go of productivity and drive and ambition. We clear things out that need to be, or we recognize what needs to be cleared out. I'm seeing masks too, even though that's like almost a new moon. That's part of it, removing masks of the self, recognizing that there are still masks of the self. Moving into that greater crown stage. I mean, look at this beautiful woman or man, and look at all the stories on their face. All those lines individually and in combination and as a whole. And the eyes have a gnosis that cannot be put to words, but you can feel it and you can know it when you allow yourself. And that's worth a level of self-reverence and self-respect that you are really touching on to. So something else that wants to come through. As you're opening up to maybe the vision, but really simply just opening up to holding placement. I keep hearing placemat. I guess it's placemat on a table, like where you are going to put your plates and your utensils and your water glass and sparkling cider glass, all the things, and then the layers of bowls and plates. I don't know why, it's Christmas, that's probably why I'm seeing it as a formal table. So you have a placemat, and you're letting that placemat be and represent, and it can be one color, it can be no colors, it can change colors, it can have designs on it if you want, but let that placemat be the truth of you. What is the truth of you? I keep hearing calm, peaceful, clarity. And so you claim that. I am calm. And you feel it as it reverberates through your body. I am peaceful. I am clarity. That's your placemat. And these are the dishes and utensils and all the wonderful things and the plates and the napkin ring and all the things. And you don't necessarily have to. It's honestly, and this is what this card is saying, the unknown. It's honestly better to not know the details and not try to envisage them. What's really being called forward is for you to continue to experience without an envisionment. Vision? Okay. Without clarifying details and so forth. Experiencing the placemat. Calm, peaceful, clarity. Those are the 3 words that came for me. They may not be what resonates for you, or maybe there's more to it. Creative expression, artist, dancer. Maybe you're going to take up something totally off the cuff and take up acting or something. Or backpacking long distances, or professional chess. I don't know. There's so many options. You may simply make it up as you go along, but you know what your placemat is. You know what the cornerstone is. You've created the words that are foundational: creative expression, kindness, compassion. It's not an emblazonment, is what I'm hearing. I'm seeing ebbs and flows, just fluidity, grace. You know what you're doing. And so what this gathering will look like in your future is completely unknown. What family is for you in the future is completely unknown. Now, that's not to say that if you already have family and community nearby, that it won't be the same people. It could be. But allow them all to shift. Allow them all to take on new character roles and unfold organically. Hold true to who you are and that truth. And everybody else will shift and shimmy and shimmer in all the ways they're meant to, because you are being an iconic representation of true. And by you being that and holding no expectation of that for anyone else, holding no expectation of anything for anyone else, simply true, then they have room to stretch and shed and shake and maybe kick a bucket or something and maybe throw a rock and maybe plant some seeds. I don't know. I think you know what I mean by this. You're knowing that to change the fabric of reality in the world around you, it is so much more potent and effectual and sustainable. Oh, if we had only known before all this had to happen. The big changes come when the big changes occur within, and we hold fidelity to that inner knowing within ourselves, as ourselves, for ourselves, and with a capital A, for the greater good of this world as a whole. All of this world. This feels almost complete. Okay, there was one more card that really wanted to fly out at the end, and I feel like we already covered it, perhaps. It's bear medicine. And I love that this came out because somebody that's dear to me had it come forward for them. Well, two beautiful women. Anyways, it says, there is no tomorrow without the healing of the past. For in stillness, you shall find yourself right where you are. Now it's complete. So much love with you, for you, to you, from me, for us. Thank you for being here, everybody. Have a beautiful and blessed, peaceful and true holiday.